Have you ever been on a plane stuck next to a plus-sized passenger wishing for more space and your entitled armrest? Or worse, have you been that plus-sized passenger feeling judged, embarrassed, and squeezed into a seat that feels like it's shrinking every year? You're not alone. This is a hot topic, and it's time we face it head-on, because it happens more often than we admit. Flying can be an uncomfortable experience for anyone, but for plus-sized passengers, it's often a uniquely challenging ordeal. Airline seats have seemingly gotten smaller over the years, and for those who don't fit the mold of the average passenger, it can feel like a battle just to board a flight. But here's the thing. It doesn't have to be that way. What if I told you there are specific seats on certain airlines that can make all the difference? Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for the next time you book a flight. Now, let's start with some hard truths about airline seating. Most economy seats are designed to maximize profits, not comfort. But that doesn't mean you're out of options. In fact, there are strategies you can use to secure a seat that's better suited for your needs or the needs of someone you're traveling with. But before I get into the solution, let me recap an embarrassing experience I had. I was traveling on an airplane and got to my seat before this particular couple. When I heard a voice and looked up, I saw two plus-sized adults telling me that the other two seats beside me were theirs. I was sitting in the aisle seat, and so I got up and allowed them to go in. I could feel their tension. The female sat in the middle beside me, and immediately my energy changed towards her because she was now taking up portions of my seat with her large hips. I was uncomfortable throughout the entire flight, and I kept having to be shifting every so often, trying to find comfort and at the same time trying to give her hints. As I look back now, I could only imagine how she felt. I don't think I was as sensitive toward her dilemma as I should have been. And this is one of the reasons I decided to do this video, to bring awareness and to help you understand that plus-sized passengers are human too. What I should have done was to quietly and respectfully ask the flight attendant for another seat. What would you have done in my situation? And, if you were a plus-sized passenger, how would you feel if I did that? One quick note, if the flight is full, there is nothing the flight attendants can do. And another thing to note, if you are plus-sized and you pay for 2 seats, that doesn't mean that you will end up keeping one. If the airplane is full, the flight attendants will ask you to give up the seat and issue a refund. You know what I honestly think? To avoid all the embarrassment and insensitivity, the airline should have a system where the passenger enters their height and weight when booking the ticket. The airlines should have a certain height and weight limit to require the passenger to buy 2 seats. That would solve the issue because then, the airline would know not to sell that extra seat to another passenger. What do you think? Obese people take up all of their own seats, and then the seats of whoever is next to them. There's no getting around that. As for the seats being as small as they are, everything the airline does is profit-driven. The more bodies they can fit in the plane, the higher the profit. There are airlines that have better seating space, but in first class, and their prices reflect it. Let's now discuss specific airlines and what they offer. Have you ever wondered why some airlines seem to offer more room than others? It's not a coincidence. Certain carriers prioritize passenger comfort, while others pack in as many seats as possible. Knowing which airlines to choose can be a game changer. Here are some airlines that stand out for offering perks to plus-sized passengers. Southwest Airlines. Southwest's customer of size policy allows passengers to purchase a second seat in advance and receive a full refund for the additional seat after the flight if the plane isn't full. This ensures comfort and peace of mind for those who need extra space. But remember, you have to file a claim for your refund. Delta Airlines. While Delta doesn't have a specific passenger of size policy, their Comfort Plus seats and first-class options provide significantly more room, and they offer accessible booking services to help passengers choose the best seat for their needs. JetBlue Airways. Known for offering some of the most spacious economy seats in the industry, JetBlue's even more space seats provide up to 38 inches of legroom, making them a great choice for plus-size travelers. Alaska Airlines. Alaska Airlines allows passengers to purchase a second seat at the time of booking and guarantees a refund if the flight is not fully booked. Their premium class seats also offer extra legroom and space for added comfort. But even if you're flying with a budget carrier, there are ways to improve your experience. Want to know one key tip? You should always look for bulkhead seats or exit row seats. These seats often provide extra legroom and can feel much more spacious. However, remember that exit row policies vary by airline, and some may restrict plus-sized passengers from sitting there due to safety regulations. Think you're stuck with whatever seat the airline assigns you? Think again. There's one mistake most people make when choosing seats, and it could be costing you the comfort you deserve. Always check the seating chart as soon as you book your flight, and don't be afraid to pay a little extra for a seat with more room. It's an investment in your comfort, and trust me, it's worth it. You can also go to seatguru.com to see a chart on which seats are available on different airlines. This is a good way to plan your next move. So, what's the ideal seat for plus-sized passengers? Here's what to look for. Bulkhead seats. These seats have no other seats directly in front of them, offering more legroom and easier access to the seat. Aisle seats. These provide more freedom to stretch out and move around without disturbing other passengers. Window seats with extra legroom. While some window seats have limited space, those in premium rows or near emergency exits can be ideal for a more private and spacious experience. First or business class. If your budget allows, these seats often offer the most room and comfort, ensuring a stress-free flight. And here's a bonus tip. Don't hesitate to call the airline directly before your flight to discuss seating options and policies. Many carriers are willing to accommodate requests if you explain your needs politely and clearly. Some airlines do have premium economy, which is basically catered for those of us who want some extra legroom space and are willing to pay more, but not that much. Like any kind of seat, it varies by airline, so check websites like Seat Guru for comparisons. Delta is at the top of the list for premium economy. Their premium is like a domestic first class, 232 seating instead of 343 seating, so you get a couple of inches for girth and 6 inches for seat pitch. Are you getting any value from this so far? I certainly hope so. Now, let's move on. Even if I were to agree that it is the airline's responsibility to fill their aircraft with seats wide enough to be comfortable for even the morbidly obese, no passenger has the right to usurp a seat that someone else has paid for. That's not limited to the customer of size. It also applies to parents demanding a stranger's seat so they can sit with their children. I don't get mad at a person for being overweight, or, at least, far more overweight than I. However, under no circumstances should I have to share my seat with them, especially if it is a long flight. Also, the customer of size passenger population is only about 1%. Therefore, the airlines are not going to risk their profits to accommodate them, and that is a travesty, if you ask me. Let's now go into steps that can be taken. Advocating for yourself as a plus-sized passenger is crucial. Here are some steps you can take. Do your research. Before booking, check airline policies regarding passengers of size. Look for options like extra seats or refunds for additional space. Book early. The sooner you book, the more likely you are to snag seats with extra room. Use seating charts to identify bulkhead or premium seating. Communicate clearly. When calling the airline, be straightforward about your needs. Most airlines appreciate advance notice and will work to accommodate you. Leverage loyalty programs. If you frequently fly with a specific airline, consider joining their loyalty program. Status upgrades can often lead to better seating options. Arrive early. Getting to the airport early ensures you have time to discuss seating options with gate agents who may be able to make adjustments. Check seat specifics. Different airplanes for different companies will have different seat configurations, depending on the route. Remember, you can always check the seat specifics for any flight on seatguru.com. You can literally look up seat sizes, floor plans, and seat dimensions to compare them all. Aisle seat to the rescue. If all else fails and you end up on a plane with no specialty seats, get an aisle seat, and underneath the hinge of the aisle armrest is usually a button you can press that allows you to raise the aisle armrest so you can relax out into the aisle as needed. You'll have to be attentive to carts in the aisle and people moving back and forth, but it can provide a few extra inches of space. More legroom space. Download the Legroom plugin for Google Flights to compare and search for flights based on your legroom. And let's not forget the power of preparation. Consider bringing a seatbelt extender if you know you'll need one, as it can save you from having to request one on the plane. But bear in mind that on most airlines, seat extenders can only be used in seats with an air belt. Additionally, packing light or using carry-ons that fit easily in overhead bins can make navigating the cabin less stressful. But I think the best solution is to buy 2 seats in economy if you want extra space. 99% of the time, it works out much cheaper than buying a business class or first class ticket. Sometimes it's cheaper to buy a row of 3 instead. You don't have to pay all the taxes and fees for an extra seat when you arrange it with the airline. Buying 2 seats shows you're a thoughtful, caring, logical person, and your fellow passenger will appreciate that. Bonus tip: make sure to check in with the gate agent before boarding begins, and just explain you have 2 seats purchased to save any issues during boarding, and to make sure they don't try and fill it with standby passengers. Also, buying the extra seat allows you to board with the disabled passengers so you can pick out your seat. Good way to get the front row for the extra legroom. By following these steps and choosing your seats wisely, you can transform your flying experience. Everyone deserves to feel comfortable and respected when they travel. So, the next time you're booking a flight, remember these tips and advocate for the comfort you deserve, whether you are the customer of size or not. If you are the passenger sitting beside a customer of size, be sensitive. Sometimes the person is medically obese because of taking certain prescribed medicine. Let's make your next flight the best one yet. Please subscribe to the channel for more tips and hot topics. I upload content every day. And if you don't want to miss out, please hit that notification bell too. Visit the links in the description. Anything you purchase will help to support the channel. Thanks in advance for doing so, and thanks for watching this until the end. Until then, safe travels.